Welcome to Too Fond of Books. My name is Janelle and this is a book haul. These are the books that I bought in October and November, and there are a lot of books here, mostly because the other day there was a half price sale at the Salvation Army thrift store, and they had like a lot of books that I'm interested in. There was like this massive Tudor fiction section. I don't know if like someone just got rid of all of their Tudor fiction or what. But anyway, there's a lot of books here. So I'm not really going to be able to talk about each book very much. But I do want to show you these. So let's just dive straight into this. This is a book that I heard about from Annika on her channel, Inking Your Thinking. She just got this book to read in December, and it looked so good. I got it myself. It's called Cat Out of the Bag by Clifford Whiting, and he's a Golden Age author that I have never heard of before. So I was super excited about this one. He wrote this book in 1939, and it is set at Christmas, which is the other reason why I got it, because I'm totally going to read this in December. How, where, and why did a man disappear from a group of carol singers on that cold December night in Paulsfield? It says that this author is now very collectible and is seen as one of the most talented writers of the golden age of detective fiction. And I've never heard of him. So yeah, I'm super excited about this one. October was my birthday month, and so there's a few things in here that are going to be gifts from that. I wanted to show you this bookmark. My mother-in-law made this for me for my birthday. Isn't that fantastic? And look at the back, is pretty too. So, yay! Okay, and then another gift that I got, this wasn't for my birthday, but this was from one of my fantastic subscribers. So this is from Teresa. Teresa, thank you so much. You did not need to do this at all, but I am so grateful. Thank you so much. So these actually came in 2 packages, but I've put it in one just because. So she gave me Bruno, Chief of Police by Martin Walker. This is a series that I am really enjoying. I'm currently reading I will be reading the 3rd one very soon. It's set in France and in a village in France. And so, yeah, this one's fantastic. So thank you, Teresa, so much. She also sent me, and I can't even believe this, look at how fantastic this is. And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. But this edition is just gorgeous. I love it so much. And look at the end papers. So thank you, thank you, thank you, Teresa. That was so kind and generous. I really, really appreciate that. When my parents were here recently for a visit, we went thrifting, and we also went to the antique mall where I found these 2 books, and I think we could technically call them a birthday present because my parents bought them for me, and I absolutely love these particular editions. This is Perry Mason Solves the Case of the Lucky Legs by Earl Stanley Gardner. This is a pocketbook edition. Isn't it fantastic? This edition is from 1952. This book was originally published in 1934, so I was super excited to find this. I am collecting the Perry Mason books, but I am trying to only collect them in editions that I like, that are from like the 30s, 40s, 50s, and so I was excited to find that. And then I also found Poison in Jest by John Dickson Carr, and again, isn't this a fabulous edition? This is from 1932, and yeah, this edition is from 1932. So this is the year it came out, and so I was super excited about this. I love John Dickson Carr, and he writes a lot of locked room or impossible crime books, and so yeah, that was super exciting. Some of the books that I found when we were thrifting, I got the Memoirs of Mary, Queen of Scots by Carolee Erickson. Now, what's interesting here is this makes it look like it's a nonfiction book, but it's actually a novel. It's fiction. It's a fictional memoir, which I think is really interesting. So yeah, I found that. And I also got The Last Templar by Michael Jex. This is part of his Medieval West Country series, and I believe this is one of the very early ones. Potentially even the first one that I've been on the lookout for quite a while. And then I also found A Bone of Contention by Susanna Gregory. This is the third chronicle of Matthew Bartholomew. Again, these are also medieval mysteries. These are set in the 1300s. And then one that I've never read before, but it just, or heard of, but I've never read anything by this author, but it looked really interesting. And this is Murder in Montparnasse, a literary mystery of Paris by Howard Engel. And Howard Engel is a Canadian writer, so that just sounded interesting to me. This one was published in 1992. And then we have Murder in the Museum by Simon Brett. This is a feathering mystery, so it's set in the village of Feathering in England. I'm not sure where this is in the series, but I've read a couple in this series and I have enjoyed them. And then I got Eleanor of Aquitaine by Alison Weir. I enjoy Alison Weir, and so if I see hers, fiction or nonfiction, I pick them up, and this is one of her nonfiction ones. Eleanor of Aquitaine is a really interesting character or person from history, and so yeah, I was excited to find this. And then, last but not least, I found this one, Kings and Queens, A History of British Monarchy by Ronald Pearsall. And what I liked about this is the information, but it also has just really good pictures and stuff. I liked how it was set up. So this is, I mean, basically this is a coffee table book, but I find it very interesting. And then I ordered a few books off of Book Outlet. They were having some kind of a sale, and so I got The Decent Inn of Death by Rennie Erth. This is from the John Maiden series. I talked about this in one of my recommendations videos for Cloak and Dagger Christmas. This is a series that starts just after World War I, and by the third book in the series, we're in World War II, possibly the sixth in the series. This came out recently. This just came out in 2020, and it is set, I'm not sure. So after the third book, once they hit World War II, then I don't know if he keeps advancing in history. And then I also picked up A Necessary Evil by Abir Mukherjee. This is a historical mystery series set in India that I really like. This one is, I believe this one is the second in this series. I have the third one, and so I still need to pick up the first one, but this is a series that I quite enjoy, set in 1920s in India. And then I got the second one in the Harriet Gordon series by A.M. Stewart. This is Revenge in Rubies. This is set in Singapore in 1910. And then I got Death in a Desert Land by Andrew Wilson. This is part of his Agatha Christie series. This is the third, maybe? Yeah, potentially the third in the series. This is set in Baghdad in 1928. And then I got, this is part of a series that is set in Scotland in the 50s, which is really interesting. This is called A Kind of Grief by A.D. Scott, historical mystery. Set in the Highlands of Scotland, as I said, in the 50s, and the main character is a woman who works for a newspaper. So yeah, this is another series that I do quite enjoy. And then last but not least, I got Bletchley Park. The Secret Archives contains removable memorabilia, and this is by Sinclair McKay. I'm fascinated by Bletchley Park and the part that it played in World War II. This was where they did all their decoding, and where they famously decoded the Enigma machine. And so yeah, I think this is going to be a great book to just kind of flip through. And the memorabilia at the back is also really interesting. I'll pull something out for you. Here is a list of stuff that's been decoded. And here is a map of Bletchley. So yeah, this one is just going to be a really fun one to just kind of dip in and out of. Okay, and now let's get to the books that I bought most recently at the half price sale. So this means that the books that you were going to see, paperbacks were $1 and hardcovers were $2. So great deal. Let's get into this. Okay, first up, this one isn't a book, but this is the first season of Corner Gas, and it's currently not available for us streaming anywhere. And this, I love this show. It's a comedy, a sitcom set in Saskatchewan, small town Saskatchewan, and it's just brilliant. We love it so much. So we were excited to find this for $1.50. Okay. So I got the autobiography of Henry VIII with notes by his fool, Will Summers, by Margaret George. Now, like the Carolee Erickson one I showed earlier, this one appears to be nonfiction, but it is fiction. It says right on the front that it is a novel. I have another book by her. Boy, she writes chunkers, but I really like the Tudor time period. So for $1, how could I go wrong, right? I found a number of books by Karen Harper. And Karen Harper, I've been reading her Elizabeth I historical mystery series and really loved it. So I snatched these ones up. This is The Queen's Governess. So the next few are all going to be by Karen Harper. This is a tale of Elizabeth I's closest ally and most trusted confidant, a woman whose story has never been told until now. It's the story of Catherine Ashley. I find that really a really interesting person to focus your story around. Then we have The Queen's Confidant. The War of the Roses may be over, but the throne is far from safe. So this is set in London in 1501. Henry VII's heir is dead. So again, another time period that I really love. And what I like here is that she's choosing to tell stories that are not, there's some characters that their stories get told all the time, King Henry VIII or Elizabeth I or whatever. So I do enjoy when I find stories that are about characters who don't get as much attention. This one is The Royal Nanny, and this one is set in 1897. A young nanny arrives at Sandringham, ancestral estate of the Duke and Duchess of York. And so yeah. And then last but not least of the Karen Harpers, this is The Last Bolin. It tells the story of the rise and fall of the Bolins through the eyes of the eldest daughter, Mary. So again, like I was saying, often if you have a story about a Bolin, it's going to be about Anne Boleyn, but this one is about Mary. I mean, it's the whole family, but told through the eyes of Mary. So I find that really, really interesting. Continuing here with the Tudor era fiction, this is Roses Have Thorns by Sandra Bird. This is a novel of Elizabeth I. I'm not sure if I've ever read anything by Sandra Bird before, but I've heard of her as a Tudor author, and so I am going to, I'm excited about trying her out. And then some Alison Weir. Like I said, I really enjoy Alison Weir, so I found The Princes in the Tower. This is her nonfiction about the princes in the tower. And Jane Seymour, The Haunted Queen. This is part of her 6 Tudor Queens series. So she's written a book about each of Henry VIII's wives, and this one is Jane Seymour. And then this one is A Dangerous Inheritance, a novel of Tudor rivals and the secret of the Tower. This one fascinated me with how it's told. This is the dramatic intertwined stories of 2 women, Catherine Grey and Kate Plantagenet, separated by time but linked by twin destinies involving the mysterious tragic fate of the young princes in the Tower. So I thought this was really interesting. So Catherine Grey is the younger sister of Lady Jane Grey, who was executed in 1554. And then Kate Plantagenet is the daughter of the illegitimate daughter of Richard III. So I am really fascinated by the plot of this one. Okay, and then I got a few by Anne Easter Smith. This is Royal Mistress. This is the rise and fall of Jane Shore, final and favorite mistress of Edward IV. And so this is time period here, hang on, the late 1400s, 1475 it starts. And then I also found Daughter of York, which is Mary Margaret of York, 1461. And then last by Anne Easter Smith is The King's Grace. And this is Grace Plantagenet, illegitimate daughter of Edward IV. It begins in 1485. All right, continuing on with these historical fiction. This is The Unfaithful Queen by Carolee Erickson, a novel of Henry VIII's 5th wife, who is Catherine Howard. And then we have King's Fool by Margaret Campbell Barnes. A notorious king, his 6 wives, and the one man who knew all their secrets. Now this one, I do think this is still a novel, but it is based on, oh no, I'm not sure if this is a novel or if this is nonfiction. It's a little hard to tell sometimes. Interestingly, this was originally published in 1959. It is fiction. Okay, and then we have The Wild Hunt by Elizabeth Chadwick. This is another writer I've never read before, but I have heard of her as a Tudor fiction writer, but this one is a lot earlier, so maybe not Tudor fiction. This is set in Wales in 1098. So, yeah, that's really interesting. And then a couple by Joanna Hickson, first of the Tudors, Lover, Outlaw, Kingmaker. This is the story of Jasper Tudor, his half-brother Henry VI. And so it's one set during the War of the Roses. And then this one is The Tudor Crown. She'll betray her king to crown her son. First of all, isn't this cover gorgeous? This is, again, during the Wars of the Roses, Edward of York. And so, yeah. Okay. I found a few Anne Perry's as well, so let's just dive into those ones really quickly. Only one of them is from the William Monk series. This is Execution Dock. So this is a Victorian era historical mystery. I really like the William Monk series, and I'm collecting those. The rest of these are from the Charlotte and Thomas Pitt series that is also set in the Victorian era. A little later in the 1800s, the William Monk ones are kind of like mid 1800s. These are late 1800s. So I got Bedford Square, Seven Dials, Long Spoon Lane, Pentecost Alley, and Treachery at Lancaster Gate. All right, I got another Chronicle of Matthew Bartholomew. This one is called A Wicked Deed. So again, these are historical mysteries set in the mid-1300s. I got a Peter May. Again, it was only $1, so I thought I would grab it to read it and then probably throw it in the little free library. This one is an Enzo MacLeod investigation called Freeze Frame. This is set in France, and I've never read any of this series, but it's been recommended to me, so I thought I would give this a try. Ile de Croix in France, a tiny island off the coast of Brittany, is the scene of a murder left shrouded in mystery and grief. Adam Killian's study has been left intact since his death, the perfect state for Enzo MacLeod's forensic investigation. Killian's widow is still hoping, the first suspect is still hiding, and the treacherous island itself still has a revelation for Enzo. I got Down Cemetery Road by Mick Herron. Mick Herron writes the Slough House series. This is a different series, and I've read this before a few years ago, and it's set in Oxford, which is one of the things that attracted me to this one. This is apparently a Crime Writers Association Gold Dagger winner. It's his debut novel, which is also interesting. A woman's search for a missing child unravels a murderous conspiracy. And then I got a one from the No. 1 Ladies Detective Agency series, which is set in Botswana. The main character is Precious Remotsway, and she runs a detective agency. This is Morality for Beautiful Girls. I love these editions because they tell you where it is on the series on the side here. So this one is the 3rd in the series, so I was glad to find that one. And then I found The Word is Murder by Anthony Horowitz. I've been wanting this one for a while. This one is about a writer, I think, and Anthony Horowitz puts himself in the story as a character, which I find fascinating. I found a Inspector Rebus. I'm trying to collect this series as well. This is Tooth and Nail by Ian Rankin. Rebus is a police officer in Edinburgh, in Scotland. And I found a Thomas Hardy that I had never heard of, The Trumpet Major. And apparently it's a historical fiction that Thomas Hardy wrote, and he wrote it in 1880. I think it was 1880, something like that. And then I found a gorgeous, gorgeous edition of Oscar Wilde short stories. Can you believe that I got this for $2? And look at it without the dust jacket. It's the same. I love that. And it has beautiful end papers. So this one has short stories, The Happy Prince and Other Tales, Lord Arthur Saville's Crime and Other Stories, A House of Pomegranates, The Portrait of Mr. W.H., The Ballad of Reading Jail. So I was excited about that, and I was pretty sure that this contains the Canterville Ghost, which is one that I've been wanting to read. Hang on for a second. Yes, it does have the Canterville Ghost, so I'm excited about that. 2 more. This is Queen Victoria by Cecil Woodham Smith. This was written, I believe, in the 70s, 1972. From her birth to the death of the prince consort. So I find it interesting that it's not her whole story, it's just the story up until Prince Albert dies, which I find fascinating. And then last but not least, I found She-Wolves by Helen Castor. This is nonfiction, the women who ruled England before Elizabeth. So I thought that was really interesting. So there you have it. That is my massive book haul. What do you think? Have you read any of these books? Do you think I should start with any particular book? Is there a favorite of yours in there? Let's chat in the comment section down below, and I will see you for another video soon. Bye.